Welcome everyone to the January check-in. Go over just the basics as always. And get my screen to advance. Of course. Oh, there we go. All right. So our community agreements are the same as always. And everyone tries to be engaged and say how you feel. You don't have to hold back. Be who you are and understand that we may not always agree, but we want to hear everyone's voice. And I like this quote from C.S. Lewis for today. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. And that's definitely what we're working on right now. So here's kind of what our agenda is for today. We're going to look at some questions from the last note taker. We're going to talk about something called the question formulation technique, or QFT, and then just a few updates. I don't have a lot of updates, so that's why there's just a few. I'm going to try to switch my screen out here. I have two screens. There we go. Try that. So I can see when people come in. Okay, so for those who just joined, let me put in one more time this note taker. Oh, another person. Welcome to those who are just joining us. If you will, please sign in on the note taker, and you will be using that this afternoon. So if you will bring that up. All right. So going forward, and again, I am using something that went away. Are you still seeing my screen? Yes, no? You're seeing my...
We see your desktop.
Okay. So I
moved... It's giving me hives.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me change my screen. I wasn't able to see when people were coming in, so let me change that real quick. Share my screen again. And this one. How's that?
It's good.
Awesome. All right. And I wanted to do something different though. There we go. Now we're good. Okay. So in your note taker, again, please go in, sign in for me. But as you go down, there will be some documents that we're going to use. Again, the question formulation techniques, what we're going to be looking at today. And then there'll be a breakout room. So you're going to need that link there here in a little while. All right. So from our last November meeting and the note taker, we had a couple of questions. One was, will we get updates for the 2009 assessment MAP scores? And I have been working on those, but the data that I got on all of the students has them all meshed together, and it's taken me a long time to separate them out. And the best information that I have to share is what I shared at our October or November meeting, where I shared the documents on access testing and overall scores. So for right now, that's probably the best information I can share out. I can tell you that I took all of the data from 2019 and arranged it in order to find the mean, the median, and the mode. And the mode score was looking at all the schools who had made progress, where the students showed growth, and the mean and the mode were both 0, which was not good news. So there were a lot of school districts who had 0 growth in 2019, which wasn't a good thing. But I'm still working on that data and I'll get it out to you. But the better information to look at right now is what I shared at the last check-in, where I shared the access information. And I can share that out again if you need it. All right, and the other question was about human reader for the access test at the point where you need to be, generally you'd be sitting next to the student and reading them. And Drew put a few things in that document that he sent out, but one thing that was suggested in one of the WIDA meetings that I attended was that you get a document reader that displays it on a smart board or something, a document camera that will display it and read it from there so that everyone can see it at the same time. So they felt that that would probably be the best option, where you didn't have to be sitting behind the student, where you could project it and read it from there. Either that or putting the plexiglass between you so you could sit side by side. But those were the responses I got. All right, the other thing that I wanted to share was this US Department of Education update that was sent out. And I've put links here to their original document. And at the last meeting we had with them, they said nothing's really changed, but they did send out this addendum that was basically what Drew and Sean and I have been telling everyone. There's no real change. We have to listen to what they say, and they're still saying we have to take the test, and they're expecting everything to be as usual. So that's where we are with that. And after US Department of Ed released that statement, then WIDA came and sent a letter out giving their stance based upon what was said. So that's what those 3 documents are right there. So basically nothing's changed. We're still expected to give the test, and we're still expected to do our best to bring them in and whatever means we can. And if you can't, document it and go forward. So unfortunately, that's what's happening. But that's for you there if you need those documents to share out with others. And I will say also that if you aren't aware, on our Edmodo, in our Edmodo group, we have started a collection of a few letters that you can send out to parents who are refusing to bring the students in. They advised me not to send one out at the state level, but I still have made some available to you through Edmodo that you can look at and make fit for your needs. So those are there for you. All right. The next thing we're going to do is any questions that come up or anything that you need assistance with, don't forget your MEL specialists are there and they can answer a lot of your questions. And if they can't, they can always get a hold of me, or you can get a hold of me also. And I wanted to ask if any of you had anything going on that you want to let everyone know about at this time. Does anybody have anything they need to share? Oh.
Cami?
Yes, Rob, go ahead.
Um,
Have somebody checking in. Go ahead.
so what's going on with me? I have a book study starting on Thursday, so that's fun. We're gonna read a book by Jeff Zweers. We still have Jeff Zweers is gonna be part of our Elevate conference, which is now gonna be in June. I think I have a meeting about that tomorrow just to confirm where still all systems go for a June conference.
Uh-huh.
I really heard from someone from International Institute who has developed a free workshop on cultural competence. And I just got this today, so I don't have a lot of information, but I think I'll send it to you and have you maybe put it out on Edmodo, but it's virtual. It's a two-day training. It's like an hour each day, but 2 parts. And it's all about communication with people of different cultures, understanding sort of implicit bias and things like that. So yeah, put together by International Institute here in St. Louis, and will be virtual, so anyone could attend, and free. So I'll send you some info about that after this meeting, I guess.
Great. Sure. I'm happy to post that. Guadalupe, do you have anything that you need to share?
Hey everyone, not at this moment. We had the slide workshop that I'm doing, and it has been moved to April. So once we get all the details, I will send them out probably to you as well, so you can post it out on Edmodo.
Okay.
And I'm putting together a para training. However, I'm debating on the date, whether to have it now or waiting till everybody is done testing, just so that we make sure that they can attend and have that time for it. So that's where I'm at right now. But again, all the trainings that we offer at the RPDC are online, so anyone can attend those. So I will send you the link for that as well.
Okay, sounds
Thank
good.
you.
And Julie, do you have anything that you need to share?
Our group just finished a book study by Tanya Ward Singer, the Yell Out Excellence Every Day. And right now, everybody's just in full swing trying to get those students tested. And I have been to a couple of districts to help some content teachers with some virtual learning. And I'm learning a lot more myself.
That's
while
great.
I'm doing that. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much what's going on here. And just trying to stay well.
All right. Well, that's a good thing. Yes. And Cynthia, anything going on that you need to share with us?
I don't have anything going on per se, but I did locate let's see, she is a PhD candidate in school psychology here at Mizzou. I'm based in Columbia, and she is a native Spanish speaker, and she is working at the Thompson Center. So if any of you who have any Spanish speaking English learners who might want to be tested at the Thompson Center, she could probably get the student in quicker. There's generally a year-long wait list, but since she is the only bilingual doctoral candidate and person on staff there, she will be working, with under supervision. But she is willing, and her goal is to bring more access and more testing to specifically Spanish-speaking kids and families. So feel free to reach out to me if you have a student in mind, and I could try to connect you with her.
Great. That's a wonderful resource. Thank you. So everyone should keep that in mind. I'm going to put the link to our note taker one more time for those who joined us. Please sign in, and we have an activity that we're going to do now. Thank you to our mail people, and remember, they're there if you have questions or needs, and if you want PD or something like that, these people are willing and able to help you with anything you might need. All right. So I don't know if any of you have heard of Beth Skelton, but in the last few months, I attended a meeting that she conducted for South Dakota. And it was so wonderful that I got permission to utilize her slides because I felt like it would be a very good PD for us as well, especially during testing season, and to help our students to better make meaning of what they're doing. So has anyone ever heard of this question formulation technique? You actually can go and get a training specifically on this technique and become a certified trainer for it. So we're getting the abbreviated version, but I still think it is, it's very doable and it's very simple to move forward with. And I think that you will find it useful. So that's what we're going to look at today. Oh, whoops. All right, so the objectives are to understand this formula, how it's different for grade level and content areas. And then our language objective is about asking questions and categorizing and prioritizing questions using this technique. So we even have success criteria that you'll be able to apply this, and it even has supports for English language learners. So that's kind of part of what was interesting to me. So we're going to utilize breakout rooms for this activity. And on your sheet, there's this link here that says breakout room documents. So if I could have you open that up in the background on your page, that is something we're going to be using. All right, so I'm going to put you in a breakout room, and we'll see how many of us there are to how many rooms we get. And the first thing that you're going to do is, for your group, you're going to choose a facilitator and a timekeeper, and then type the names of your members. And then you're going to follow this activity 1 where you introduce yourself. Okay, so that we get to know each other. And we're doing this as if you are students. So this is an activity, and this is how you would do it with your students, just to give you an idea of how it works. So let me put everyone in a breakout room. Let's see, there are how many of us? 19. So let's do 4. All right. You should be getting an invitation for a breakout room. And here, I'll put the link in there again for you, Dana. That's the link for the note taker. And it's about midway down the page. You will have about 5 minutes in your breakout rooms. That's okay, Jan. You can still kind of get the idea of what we're doing, or you can hang out with me. Sally, let's see.
Sorry, I was trying to open up those documents and I signed out of the meeting.
Oh, that's okay. I'm trying to figure out how to put you in a breakout room. Breakout room. Oop. Oh, I understand, Jan, that's fine. I am not, Jan, do you know how to put someone in a breakout room after you've sent everyone? 'Cause
Sorry,
I'm not finding the button.
I'm a troublemaker.
That's okay, hon. Move to, let's see. I don't know if you're even on the list. Oh, there you are. Okay. Sally Lee, I'm going to move you to room 4. There you go. You should have gotten an invite.
Okay, thanks.
A couple of rooms have lots of people. At least in here. Okay. Dana. Oh, good deal. All right. Thanks, Jan. Welcome back. Hopefully everyone got to add a question to their chart. So what I'd like for you to do is whoever you selected, share out one of the questions about ELs that you had. So can I get someone from group 1 to share a question you put on your page?
Yes, so I typed in the question. So I don't know if we really worded this correctly or not. Fabiola Lichty Branson. We have, how do we properly place students, our EL students in SPED or not in SPED? How do we know if they should be there or shouldn't be there? I think I hope I'm wording it correctly for Guadalupe.
That's a great
Yes,
question.
that was correct. Thank you.
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, group 2, what question did you pose?
Jamie, you share.
One of the questions that we had was, does anyone have recommendations on tracking reading processes for EL students?
Oh, another great question. Okay. And room 3, you guys had a small group. Jennifer or Nikki, you have a question you can share?
Well, one of our questions, my question was, I am teaching high school for the first time ESL, and I have questions about exactly how to structure this class. They've given me an entire hour with my kiddos, and traditionally the teacher that was in my position before me spent that helping them with their existing coursework, but I've been kind of using it to just guide them within their domains based on their proficiency levels. But I've honestly been just kind of making up as I go. So I want to know if there's any good activities or programs out there that could help guide me better.
All right, yes, good question. All right, so our last room, room 4. Can you share a question from your room?
Yeah, Lisa came up with all of our questions.
All right.
No, she didn't. It was me. But we really spent time on, if a kid is enrolled in launch and really has their entire day mapped and planned out for them, where do we find the time to connect with them virtually and still give them the support that they need?
Yeah, I hear you. That's a great question as well. All right, so that was the first step of this activity, is coming up with some questions. And you guys all had wonderful questions. This is a quote from Eric Schmidt, the former CEO of Google. He says, "People who ask good questions are curious, smarter, more flexible, and interesting, and understand that they don't have all the answers. Exactly the type of smart, creative characteristics you want." So that's what they're looking for, people who know how to ask questions. So another thing from a study, we found out that 3-year-olds ask parents 26 questions per hour. I bet Rob knows this. But by kindergarten, the curiosity episodes fall to 1 per hour. And by 5th grade, it's even less than that. So that makes you wonder why. Why do we stop asking questions? And how do children go from wanting to know everything under the sun to having so few questions? Is it very simple that they learn it? They don't have to ask the questions, they just go find out for themselves? So those are all some of the studies that have been going on about questioning. What they found is that early on, students ask all these questions, and then again, it drops off. In reading, they're answering questions and they're doing well in reading, and then it just kind of levels out. And the same thing with writing. They build up to a certain age and then it levels out. So there is a correlation between that rise and then leveling out but the questioning declines. We stop asking questions. So that was a big question. So there's a group called writequestion.org, and it says over 300,000 educators around the world have used this question formulation technique. The Right Questions Institute and its strategies have been recognized all over the globe as a great program for improving knowledge. So the students learn how to produce their own questions. They learn how to improve their questions. They find out strategies on using the questions, and then they reflect on what and how they learned. They can be used in synchronous and virtual face-to-face. And here's a focus question. It says, questioning isn't taught in most schools. So I don't know about you, but not many people actually question or teach people how to ask questions. Jan says they should have asked teenagers who are learning to drive. They ask lots of questions. Funny. All right, so here are the rules in doing this activity when we're going to go on to the next step. You can ask as many questions as you can, and no question is left out. Any question goes. Don't stop to judge, evaluate, or answer any of the questions. So you're just writing down questions. Whatever comes in your mind, you're writing it down. Write down each question exactly as the person states it, and change any statement that's given into a question. So looking at those 4 rules for this activity, which one do you think is going to be the most difficult to follow? I want you to chat or type your number of the one you think is going to be the most difficult to follow in the chat. And let's see what everyone says. Yeah. And that seems to be every one of these sessions that I've been to, almost everyone says 2, not wanting to stop and talk about the question and try to answer it right away. And that's hard because we want to justify or we want to come up with a solution. We're driven to find the answers. But in this case, we're not going to do that. We're just writing down a question, okay? So that leads us to task 2. I'm going to put you back in your breakout rooms. And it's going to be, it says 15 minutes, but I'm only going to do it for like 10. You are going to, since our groups are small, you're going to go through the 4 steps. You're going to write as many questions in response to this. Why do you think questioning isn't taught in schools? So what questions can you make about that? So you could say something like, why don't we teach questioning in schools? So you're going to come up with as many questions in response to that statement. So you're going to create as many as you can in 10 minutes. You're going to write them down exactly as they're stated, okay? So your whoever's going to be writing for your group is going to write them down. And this first part, step 1, is only going to take 3 or 4 minutes. As soon as you have, I don't know, 5 or 6 questions, move on to the next step. Okay. And the next step is, after you've written your questions, you're going to go through and mark whether your question is an open or a closed question. And for the purpose of this activity, we're going to define open questions are ones that can be answered with a statement, and closed can only be answered with yes or no or one word, okay? So closed, you're either saying yes, no, or a one-word response. Open, you have to give more explanation, okay? So you're going to look at your list of questions and you're just going to put an O or a C next to them, okay? The next step, you're going to change one of your open-ended questions to a closed and one of your closed to an open. Easy enough. And it says 3 or 4 minutes. I don't think it will take you that long. All right. And then the fourth step, you're going to take the questions you've written and put them in order of priority. And then we're going to look at your top 3. The 3 questions you want to answer the most, okay? And you'll write them underneath that box. The 3 that you want the most. And I'm going to visit each room and collect some statements from those questions. All right. Any questions before we start? All right, so you have 4 steps you're going to complete, and we're going to try to do this in 10 minutes. All right, so I'm going to put you back in your rooms and you're going to do those 4 steps. Here we go. Jennifer, I'm going to move you to room 3 since you're all by yourself, or room 2 since you're all by yourself. Let's put you. Welcome back, Nikki. We're back in rooms, Nikki. There you go. So let's see if I can add you to one.
Thank you. Sorry, I'd lost connection. Thank you.
No worries. I'm going to put you in with group 4 because they have the fewest number.
Got it. Thanks.
You're welcome. Hi, Chris. We are in breakout rooms, so I am going to add you to one. And what we're doing is writing questions. So
Yeah, can you add me back to room 4?
I certainly will.
Thank you, ma'am.
Uh-huh. There you go.
Right here. Can you turn it down?
Okay.
We got cut off.
Okay.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So let me get back to my screen. I was gathering some of the priority questions from our group. So some of the top questions that were listed. Why do we depend on questions written in a textbook? Is there a protocol for asking questions? And they changed that to how do we create a protocol for questioning? Do different age kids need to learn different types of questioning? What are the qualities of a good question? And how do you teach questioning to ELs? Or should you teach questioning to ELs? All right. So we've gone through the process. We've gotten our priority. The next steps. So we've turned, how can we turn one of your priority questions into a problem of practice to do research in your professional learning community or your own classroom, and what would be your next steps? So that's kind of the next steps in using this. And then the question is, what did you learn through this process of asking questions? And how did you learn it? And what do you understand differently? So here is the formulation. You have a question focus, something you're going to talk about, and it can be any topic. You produce your questions, you have to follow those 4 rules, you number your questions, then you improve your questions by either changing them from closed to open or open to closed, and prioritize them, and then share and discuss the next steps, and then you'll do a reflection. And I'm going to move through this a little bit quickly because we're running out of time, but just to give you an idea what the process is. So you're taking from divergent thinking, and then thinking about thinking, and then sharing your thinking with other people are kind of the steps. With English language learners, we can provide supports for asking questions like sentence frames and question stems. You could make a little box like this that says who, what, when, where, and all of that. So my screen went crazy on me. There we go. Okay, so you could also say this other box where it has factual, predictive, however, whatever level your students are, provide necessary stems or frames for them. You could also provide some translations and visuals for questioning, like where, and translate it, and when, and who, those top words for questioning. And you could put them purposely with certain partners, either home language partners or those that can work well with them to assist them. You can put different levels together so that they can work more easily together. So you teach the QFT process in a face-to-face environment first is the best way, if possible. And I want to give you some examples of how this has worked in a classroom. So in kindergarten, you might show this picture, and the students generate as many questions as they can about the picture. And these are some actual questions generated by kindergartners. Is the alligator camouflaged? Why do the babies have stripes? Are those baby crocodiles? Is it a mom or dad crocodile? What's that green stuff? So you can see any question is accepted. Some of them are more higher order. You can find out if students understand words like camouflaged, if they've heard that before. you get some background knowledge based on the questions that they ask, and you know what things you need to delve deeper into. So there's a kindergarten example. You could use this in math. So you could give this example, 24 equals smiley plus smiley plus smiley, and the students generate questions based on that. So here's some examples that actually came from fourth graders. Why is the 24 first? And why are there 3 smiley faces? Do the 3 faces mean something? And I like this. Can we replace each smiley with an 8? So that it shows you the level of thinking that they have. Yes, it is similar to the 3 act tasks by Fletcher's. Yeah. So this gives you an idea, again, what they know and what you need to work on more in depth. You can use it in science. Give them this picture and have them ask questions about motion on an incline to find out what they know. So here are some actual questions. How steep is the incline? How did the size of the wheels affect the cart? How long is the ramp? So it gives you an idea of what students know about the process of motion on an incline before you even get started. And then social studies, we kind of did this one last year with a picture. So you give them a picture such as this and have them start generating questions about the picture. This is one of my favorite ways to do it. Why are they fighting? Are they fighting? Where were they? Who are they? And why are they laughing? So generate your questions. Why are these people in the background smiling? I don't know where this one came. Who died? But you get the idea. So they're generating questions based on a picture. You could use this in art, music, or even PE. Anywhere that you could show them something, and then they just generate questions. This came from David Pearson. He said, the questions a student asks after reading a text are a better assessment than the questions a student can answer about that text. I thought that was a good statement, because if they can ask a question about the text to someone else, that shows a deeper understanding. And then from John Hattie, engaging in pre-lesson self-questioning improves students' rate of learning by nearly 50%. So what we just did, having students think about what knowledge they have before they start a lesson, gets them more involved, gets them thinking about their thinking before they even start. And then this was from a 9th grade remedial student, says his reflection on using the process. The way it made me feel was smart because I was asking good questions and giving good answers. So students enjoy it as well. Go on. And when you think you know all you need to know, you ask another question to discover how much there is to learn, more there is to learn. And when you ask questions, you feel like it's your job to get the answers. So if you ask a question, you feel like you have to go back and answer it. So statements by students. So again, if you go to this writequestions.org, they have like a Padlet guide to using this activity with your students virtually, that you don't have to create it. They have it already, a template for you you can use. You can see some more videos of this in action to give you a better idea of how to use it. And they even give you a guide to making your own remote and in-class activity with this. And then for asynchronous, they have more guides, templates, and videos for that as well. You can join their network and get templates that you can use tomorrow in class. They have lesson planning tools, examples, videos. They have a forum and discussion that you can ask questions, and lots of free downloadable resources. So you just go to that writequestions.org and they have all of that for you. All right, so based on what we did today and what you saw in the examples, do you think this is something that you could use in your classroom? Do you see any value in this activity and applying the supports with English learners? Or do you have other suggestions? I'm going to let you talk. What did you think of the activity?
Cammy, I think it was really good activity. And I think that one reason I really liked it is the thought of looking at the questions that we ask and
Mhm.
finding out if we're asking open questions or closed questions.
Right.
And just thinking about our thinking is
exactly.
that metacognition piece, if we can get our students to start thinking about the learning and question more, it's deeper learning.
It is.
So I really liked it. I thought that it's something that should be implemented in all classrooms. So say I like the protocols.
Very good. Thank you.
I agree, and I will second that with Julie. I feel like if we were to do more of this activities with students, there will be more talking, and even that speaking scores with WIDA will go a little bit even higher to improve their speaking. I
Yes.
personally believe that if we allow students to speak more in the classroom, it will be more beneficial to them, so the outcome will be better. So thank you
Yes.
for sharing this.
Yes. Well, and I like that all questions are accepted. So no question is a bad question. You accept anything and everything that's said, and everyone's input is valued. So that was one of my big takeaways.
Yeah, just to say that there's not dumb questions.
Right.
And one of the questions that we somebody else asked within the group, it said that are we afraid to answer dumb questions? So that
Yes.
just brings us back to it. So
Yes. And, you know, since you guys put those questions in at the beginning, that gives me something to go back and look at to see what your questions are. So it's good for me as well. Any other input on this?
I'm definitely inspired to use more questioning, and I've been doing a monthly mini PD for my teachers. I've just been making a video and sending it out so I can reach everybody in the district. So I'm due to send one out this week, and I was looking, I have a list of topics, but I feel like this one has kind of jumped to the top because it's a really great way to get kids talking, is get them asking questions. So
yes, and it's non-threatening. I mean, you guys in your small groups were not threatened to talk to each other. And as a teacher, I could go in and look at everything you were doing and pick out details that I could share. So great comments. Thank you, Jennifer.
Tammy, can you go back to that quote at the very beginning? I want to convince my students that asking good questions means they are
At the very beginning.
Very beginning.
Just a minute here. Let me exit out this way.
The Pearson question.
This one?
No, even further. Very beginning. I think it was
The creativity piece.
Yeah, the creative people who ask questions are.
I'm trying. There it was. This one? No. No.
Oh, you got through a lot of slides.
This one.
The Google slide.
This one from Google.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. People who ask good questions are curious, smarter, more flexible, and interesting, and understand that they don't have all the answers, exactly the type of smart creative characteristics you want. Yeah.
And Kevin, you will be sharing this slides with us, right?
They are on the hub already.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're already there. You just have to go to the hub, and that link is on our note taker, I believe. If not, I'll make sure it's there. But you can get to it from my DESE webpage as well. All right, let's see here. I think, let me go back to where I was. Don't get dizzy, I'm sorry. Close your eyes. There we go. All right, so last thing here, do you have any questions about what's going on or anything that you want me to address or answer? If you want to ask it here, you can, or you can put it in our note taker and I will address it next time. Or you can give me your email, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. But you're welcome to ask a question now if you'd like. We still have a couple more minutes.
Hey, Cammie,
Yes,
the WIDA facilitated things on the new,
in April.
yeah, the things in April. Do we have any info about that?
They actually sent me an email today to say that they are going on. I don't know if you all know who Troy Dressler was. He worked for WIDA and he was going to be doing one of ours and he passed away. So they've done a little reorganizing, but they sent me an email, said they are on. So I will get those on our calendar and you'll be able to sign up. After you sign up with me, then I turn in your names and the person from WIDA will send out the invites for the meetings. So that's how that works, but they'll be on there soon.
Thanks.
And the one will be on using the new 2020 WIDA standards. And I don't know if you've gotten a chance to look at them. I find them to be more user-friendly and I think you'll like them. And the other one is the new kindergarten screener and getting you acquainted with that. And those will both be in April. So we'll get those dates on the calendar soon so you can sign up for them and I'll send you a link to it.
Great, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? All right, as always, if you would please complete the evaluation of our meeting today and let my bosses know what you thought of it. And you can contact me anytime with any question. That's what I do. And I love working with you all. I hope you're making it through the access testing all right. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm happy to work with you. Jennifer's giving us a tour of her house. If there is nothing else, that's all I have for today. The video of this will be posted on the hub by tomorrow, along with all of our chat. So I look forward to seeing you all again next month, and hopefully we'll find some things from your questions that we can add for our content next week or next month. All right. Thank you everyone for being here. I appreciate it. Take care. Bye-bye.